Hey intro, welcome back from your Thanksgiving break. I hope you all spent a week of relaxing, disconnecting, and engaging with your family and loved ones. Right now, that is so very important. As you can see, I'm filming this lecture in the comfort of my parents' home in Florida and enjoying the outside view. I've got the pool behind me, I've got the boat deck next to me, so it's very, very comfortable and relaxing here. However, the show must go on. So for today's lesson, I'm going to go over some content information, and all I'm going to ask you guys to do is just to pay attention because the bulk of the time that I'm going to give you back, I want you to study for your vocabulary quiz tomorrow. Yes, it's open notes. I can't really control that because we're all going to be virtual. However, it is important that you do spend some time getting to know this terminology because you will be assessed on it at the end of the unit. So, if you've forgotten, because it's been such a great week and you've done nothing but relax, if you've forgotten how to get to your course calendar, this is how you do it. So you go into your Microsoft Teams. Mine says 3 more, yours may look a little different, but you're going to look up at the top for the tab Course Calendar. And once that loads, you will see under Monday's assignment, you're going to see what we're doing today. So you've already found this recording. So that's the first step. Great job. And then after you finish watching the recording, then you're going to study for the vocab quiz tomorrow. And I gave you the vocab packet just in case you didn't do it, couldn't find it, can't find it, accidentally deleted it, your dog ate your packet, whatever the case is, I've given it to you. Okay? So here we go. Let's talk ILPSCS. So again, I've given you your vocab. We did Shawshank the first few days. So now here we are. We're going to talk about jurisdiction and venue, the difference between jurisdiction and venue. And again, remember I tell you I always give you your standards. So what is a jurisdiction? This is a geographically defined area. The jurisdiction is the one that determines the right or powers that administer justice and apply the laws. In contrast, the venue is a place from which a jury is drawn and a trial is held. So think about jurisdiction being that large umbrella, and then the venue is being what's covered underneath that umbrella, right? So there's going to be a lot of different venues within a jurisdiction. So for example, Fulton County. Fulton County, the court system of Fulton County is that umbrella, that overarching umbrella, and then underneath, inside, or encompassed within that umbrella, you've got criminal court, civil court, family court, children's court, drug court, immigration court, and the list goes on and on. So the difference between those is jurisdictions kind of like that overarching, that larger scale, and the venue is the individual scale within a jurisdiction. So just take a few seconds, pause right here to come up with your own jurisdiction. I told you Fulton County. Don't be lame and use mine. So pause. Go ahead and think of a jurisdiction and then click when you're ready. Okay, so now I hope that you've had a few seconds to come up with your own jurisdiction. So incident jurisdiction, this is essentially what you're looking at is it's a dangerous environment and it causes a danger to lives. And it's not necessarily caused by a person's behavior. And then this is where fire or EMS will respond. It involves crimes and dangerous people as well. So when there's a crime or dangerous people, law enforcement will respond. And then protocol defines the duties that are spelled out and carried out during an incident. Whoever responds, when they respond, what they're responsible for, etc. So I want you to take a second and think about a crazy guy with a machete is in a burning house. Who would be in charge? Do you think that it would be the law enforcement officers? Do you think it would be fire? Would it be paramedics? Who would be in charge? So pause right now, think about it, and then hit play when you're ready. And now that you've had a second to think about that, the answer to this one would be that the fire department would be first in charge because they have to eliminate that threat. If the police go in to try and detain that crazy guy with the machete, they could end up getting hurt. So the fire department has to eliminate the fire within the burning house, and then the police go in. And then, of course, the fire department will do it at a safe distance. They won't go in and hope that the guy with the machete isn't going to stab them. They're going to try and do it from outside while the police are covering the grounds. So criminal jurisdiction and venue. This includes federal property, personnel, or crimes which involve crossing state lines, and that's when the federal government takes over. And then you have a special jurisdiction, and that's usually spelled out. So the example I gave here is a railroad police. Like in New York, there's the LIR, the Long Island Railroad. They have their own police. MARTA here has their own police. And then all the other jurisdictions are usually handled by local police, or if there's not local departments, like we have individual for Alpharetta Police Department, Milton Police, Johns Creek Police. If there's not any of that, then it would be handled by the sheriff. So what does each ILPSCS do? Remember, ILPSCS is Law, Public Safety, Corrections, and Security. So here, what does corrections do? These are their COS, or their core operational strategies. Their jobs entail protecting, carrying out sentences of the court, making sure that they hold offenders accountable, provide basic and humane care for offenders, provide education, therapy, and rehab, and then also prepare offenders for re-entry into the community. For corrections, their main goal is to handle punishment of crimes. The jailer or the corrections officer, or referred to as a CO, monitors the inmates. The warden oversees the entire prison and implements programs. Their reacclimation program, their GED program, any program that's involved in the prison, the warden oversees. And then you have a parole and probation officer who oversees the person in the system once they get out of the prison. So take a few seconds to think about who could you be, could you be the person who inserts the lethal injection into the IV that essentially costs someone their life? Pause for a second, just think about that. I mean, that's a big deal. It just sounds very simple, and it sounds very out there to even ask that question, but this is all involved in the criminal justice system. So pause and take a second to think about that. And then now you've come back. So just to touch on others that are active in public safety, we have the military or National Guard. Remember, the National Guard was deployed at the beginning of COVID to help maintain order. DFCS is for children. It's the Department of Family and Children's Services. As an educator, I am a mandatory reporter. So if I think that, or if I have reason to believe that one of my students is in danger, I would make a report to DFACS, and they would send an investigator out to investigate. The Health Department, DHS, is the Department of Homeland Security. They handle advisories. The CDC handles the outbreaks, which you know of because of COVID, and then federal agencies. And that's where we'll stop. So now what I want you to do is just go ahead and take a few seconds to kind of go over this information again. I know you were just listening before. Take some good notes, and then you can stop the video, review your vocab, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.